Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my recap of 2023 goals and my new goals for 2024. So these are all pretty much reading goals and a little buying, but mostly just reading goals. I usually did about 8 goals the last couple years, but this year is going to be a little less just because I'm trying to streamline. It's not working, but I'm trying. So I was a couple less on that one. So anyway, so let's go through 2023. I think it was a really great reading year. I did a lot of reading. I read more than I have ever. It just was that kind of a year, and I reread a lot. So I didn't just read new books. I reread a lot. So, my numbers are pretty high on a lot of things for me, and I'm pretty proud of a lot of the stuff that I got through. So there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done on certain things, but I did pretty good. So my first goal in 2023 was to read 52 books. I put that on my Storygraph and Goodreads, and I, again, blew that out of the water. I have read over 280 books so far this year. So of all forms and stuff. So I think that it's always kind of, that was a baseline just to make sure I was reading at least a book a week overall, like on average. So it was an easy achievable goal, which I did. Number 2 is kind of the same way. It's to read 50 pages per day on average in a month. So every month I track I'm tracking how much pages I am reading per day, and then at the bottom I have like an average, and I want to make sure that's over 50 pages per day average, which I have pretty much blown that out of the water too this year. Most of my months have been over 150. Kitty, get away. Cooper is chewing on plastic, sorry. 150 to over 250. So it's like, I definitely have read a lot per day over this year, more than ever. So I definitely blew this out of the water, but it was just like a low baseline to make sure I was reading, at least enough to get to those 52 books. It's like, these are older, lower numbers, I guess, is what I'm saying. But I made it. So it was an easy check off as well. Number 3 is to cull books June and December. So twice a year I will go through and take books into my local bookstore to try to get credit. So I have 5 bags sitting right now. So I did it in June and then took books in during the summer for credit. Which I got quite a bit, and now I have to do it again because I have 5 bags right now ready to go, and then like shopping bag size, and then I have like a couple over that, so I might go through my books again to see if I can fill for a 6th bag, and then try to go a couple times in the next month and get rid of those. So we'll see. I definitely I'm checking this goal off as done because I have collected all those books. They're usually books that are series that I've either finished that I don't want to keep, or I've DNF'd so I don't want to keep, or books I've read that I DNF'd and I'm not going to keep, or books I've read and I don't want to keep. So there's mostly just I don't want to keep these books either because I've read them, or I didn't read them, or I DNF'd them, and so they're out the door. So as I said, I have over 5 bags worth right now. So I have culled because I was looking for space on my shelves, and because I bought so many books this year, which is a whole nother problem. We're working on it. Anyway, point is that I need to get rid of those. So I did do the culls. Anyway, so number 4 goal was to read what I own. So this was not based on the challenge that I'm doing now. When I wrote this on my goals, this was more kind of in a response to what they were doing. Again, the Read What You Own challenge, I know was created by Ollie at Criminali, and I am taking part in it now. I started a little later than everybody else because I didn't see all their announcement videos until like a month later when I saw some of the booktubers that I watch more of have it pop up on theirs, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. So again, I am doing that now, that challenge. But in the beginning part of the year when I put this goal down, it was more to just remind myself to read what I own and to not use the library so much, because I have a tendency to get a lot of library books, and I don't always read them all, but I get them, and then I feel obligated to at least read some of them because I've gotten them out of the library. So I tried to, my goal here was to limit my library use and get audiobooks to read books off my shelf. So a lot of my nonfiction, I want to read by audio because that's just the way I like to consume that. So a lot of times I can get it off of Libby and that kind of thing. So this one I would say was a partial success because, again, at the end of the year, I'm actually doing the Read What You Own challenge. So I'm not, I'm limiting my library use for sure. But through the year, it would kind of ebb and flow. I tried to keep my holds down to 10. Sometimes I crested that 10 number. Sometimes I had books out. I tried to keep only books on my, that were out from the library at 5 at a time, but a lot of times that crested up to 10, you know, so it kind of ebbed and flowed. I think that's just kind of how that goes. I mean, again, I did try to curb myself. I just don't think it really, really worked all that well until the end of the year when I actually joined the official Read What You Own challenge. And then I did get rid of most of my whatever library books I had. And then what I've listened to on Libby has mostly been stuff I own. There is one that I'm currently in the middle of that I do not own physically, but I'm listening from Libby. But, you know, I'm not perfect. Anyway, so we're going to still work on that. So, number 5, so I'm not going to say that, I mean, that was like, as I said, it was a partial success on that one, not great. Number 5 was Serious About Series. I had a list and a video about like 23 series I think I wanted to try to get to in 2023. And I did get to a lot of series this year. Many, many series that I caught up on or got close to catching up on, or at least started and stuff, but I did not get all to those books that were on that list, which again, I think is typical because of my mood reading tendencies. So I think I did really well on series. I would say a majority of the books that I've read this year have been part of a series of some sort. So, and that's just my reading is typical. So that's kind of, so I'm still going to say I did really well on Serious About Series because I do focus on my series and I try to get to books in series and try to make progress in those series. So I think I'm doing fine on that. So I'm gonna give myself an okay on that one. Number 6 was to buy local, reduce online buying, to pre-order through my local bookstores, and then I was supposed to try to match how much I'm reading off my shelves to how much I'm bringing in, and I did really well the first quarter. And then April came and then it just kind of exploded and that went away. So the buying thing didn't work out. So that is definitely, I did not get a check mark for that. That was not good. I did pre-order most of my books this year, either through one of my local bookstores, but I also pre-ordered a lot more through Barnes & Noble because I did get a membership right at the end of the year last year. And I kind of, as I said, some of their deals where I pre-ordered some books. So they're not, so I did do some online stuff with them. And then I still bought books and stuff through eBay and Amazon at other times and stuff. So I still did a lot of online buying, but I did a lot more this year of in-store stuff at my 2 local bookstores that I go to the most. And I think I did fairly well, but I still didn't do as well as I was hoping. And again, I bought a lot of books this year. Anyway, that's a whole nother stat thing. So we'll get to that at some other time. So number 7 was, I was trying to reconstruct my TBR. So I have a tendency to have a couple core books that I'm going to read and then all these other books that I want to read. And I was trying to pull more in other genres than what I normally pull. I'm very much a urban fantasy, paranormal romance, kind of reader. I read more of that than anything else. I was trying to pull in more translated classics, historical fiction, and romance because I've not been pulling much of those, mysteries and nonfiction. So I did pull at certain times. I did pull some of everything, but I was going to try to do at least a couple of those every month as add those in, but I can't read like that. I'm a mood reader and I have to be in the mood for those. So this was a fail because I did it like January and February and then I didn't do it again. I think I'm just going to kind of keep to not worrying about that. I'm just, my TBRs are going to always be like, there's going to be the core books that if I have anybody reads, those are the core books that I know I'm going to read. And usually they're books I want to read, so there's not a problem there. And then a few books that'll be possibilities, because that's just the way I read. And I don't want to I don't want any of that pressure that I have to read stuff because it's on my TBR. I would love to be able to say that, oh, I'm going to always come back to those books that I said put on my TBR, but there are books that I put on TBRs years ago that I still haven't read. So, it's a mood reading thing. So I'm going to say this was a fail, but, I think my TBRs are just always going to be kind of a mess. and I don't really want to compare what I really read. It just wouldn't be good. And then number 8, the last one, is I did put down to do more try a chapter tags and I was going to try to do them once a month, but with different genres. So I did try this for a few of them, and then I just let it go. I did do it to go through the last of my 23 books in 2023. Yeah, 2023 that I wanted to see if I wanted to keep. Which means I didn't read any of them, but I just took all read the chapters and decided which ones I was going to just get rid of and those I was going to keep. It didn't go so well. Like, again, and I was supposed to try to read 12 of the books that I had already said I did a try chapter on that I wanted to read that were urban fantasy paranormal romances, and I got through 5 of them, or made decisions on 5 of those series, but I still have 7 I think left. So that didn't go so well because of the 12, I didn't do so well. Anyway, but I got through some of them or made decisions on those. And then I was also supposed to read, whenever I did a try chapter, try to do the winner the next month so that I would get them off the shelf. Yeah, I didn't do that either. Again, mood reading. I just don't do that. So I still like try chapter tags. I really do enjoy trying to give books a chance. But most of the time it feels like I do those and then I go, okay, well, I'm going to keep that. So it's on the shelf, but that doesn't mean I'm going to read it right now, because now I've read that first chapter and I don't want to read it right now, but I will read it later. So I have quite a few from the 2023 list of books that are sitting on my shelf now that I want to read, but again, I did the try chapter and I kept them, but they're still there. So that was not really, that was also a fail. So I didn't do so hot on that. So those are my 2023 goals. So let's just talk about my 2024 ones. They're not going to be not as many as those. So my first one is how many books I'm going to read. I'm going to change my number to 100 books on Goodreads and Storygraph. I figure I read enough now. I don't need to have the lower number. I'm just going to put 100. It's kind of a easy number. And I expect to get it pretty early in the year and then not worry about it, or get it halfway through the year, as I said, because I figure I read quite a bit now, and even if it takes me longer, if there's any pressure, I will drop the number, but I'm hoping this year will be a good reading year, and I will definitely hit 100 books pretty soon. So we'll see how that goes. Number 2 is I'm also going to up my average page count per day on average that I want to do. So I had 50 previously. I'm going to try for 100 and see how that goes. If that is too much pressure, I will drop it again and just keep it at the low number. But I'm already over that on almost all the months this year. I think I'm pretty sure all of them. I think I'm reading enough now that I don't, it's just for me. This is not like a goal that, anybody's tracking, that it's just one I track, and I have tracked for, over a decade. It's just something I like to look at. But I'm going to say, we'll see if I can keep that up to see if that for the monthly goal is at least 100 pages per day. We'll see how that goes. I think it should be fine, because again, that would be 3,000 and over approximately, pages a month. So that'd be pretty easy, I think. We'll see. Number 3 is again to cull my books in June and December. I'm just going to keep to that rhythm of that. I think that's 6 months. I accumulate enough books that I want to get out the door, that it's time to take stuff in. And then again, it makes me look at my shelves to see if there's anything I should, now I've decided that I need to get rid of. So that one's going to stay as it is. Number 4 is the actual Read What You Own challenge. As I said, I'm currently participating in that. I'm only a month in. I've only so far, I think is it 16 or 17 books that I have either read or DNF'd off my shelf. Off my physical or or audio or ebook shelf. So that's all like of all my books. So I'm not doing super great, but again, I'm only a month in. I'm not sure I'm going to make the 100 that a lot of them are going for. I am at least trying to get through February, but we'll see how that goes, how far I get, and then I might restart it after that. As I said, so I'm doing pretty good so right now. I am using Libby a lot to listen to audiobooks. Mostly of stuff that I own. I am listening to one book on audio that is not physically, I don't own anyway, but it's from the library. So we'll see how that one goes. That one I'm not so sure about why I started that, but I'm not perfect. So again, I'm still doing the whole trying to limit the library use right now. I have only stuff on there for holds that are either audiobooks for books I own, or they are pre-orders. They're books that are coming out in the early part of 2024 that I don't want to pay for or right away, or I'm going to wait for hardback, or wait for paperback. So I want to read when they come out, but I don't want to buy them yet. There are a couple that will be coming in from the library that are new releases, but I've kept the list down. My list is under 10 right now, so I'm going to try to keep it under 10 of all my holds. Anyway, we're gonna try that. So anyway, mostly I want to read what you own and read stuff off my bookshelf. So I'm gonna really strive to be continuing to do that into the new year, and as far as I can. And then even if I finally break that buying ban, then I will get back on it as soon as I feel like I've been buying too many books again, because it'll happen. My number 5 is my cart of shame, which you can see here is full of books on this top row that are all books that I have abandoned at some point in the last 3 or 4 years. I have decided that this year I would like to, this is why it's a goal. I'm not sure this is one of my achievable goals, but I want to pull one book off at least a month. If I can do more, that's great, but I want to at least try to physically decide, or take them off and decide if I want to continue reading that, or I just want to get rid of the book. There's a couple of them that are kind of iffy that I might just want to get rid of. And then there's other books that they're classics that I really want to get to, but I just might need more time to read them. But I want to make some decisions on these books. I mean, again, there's quite a few. I will have a video out tomorrow on what is on the cart. So maybe you can help me decide which ones I should pick up sooner rather than later. But that is going to be a goal. I want to get through, as I said, end of the year, I usually try to get through everything that's on my currently reading. And these are the ones that have been abandoned for a couple of years. Like at the end of the year, I did not come back to these. So I do want to try to get through those and get that cart down to at least half by the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. I'd like to be more. And then my last goal for number 6 is I am going to focus on reading some epic fantasy this year. Tad Williams, the last book in the Last King of Ostenard series, or part of the Ostenard universe. The last book comes out in the fall. So I want to reread the 2 main novels and a novella that I've already read, and then read the 3rd novel that I never read because I put it off waiting for the last book, because the book 4 is supposed to come out. Navigator's Children is supposed to come out later this year. So I'm hoping to reread the books that I have read before and read the new one to be ready for the last book, because I want to finish off that series this year. Just because I'm excited for it. Is my most anticipated release. I'm super excited to get that done. Is Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, which is the first part of that series, is my favorite epic fantasy series. So it's, Ostenard has been great overall, and I want to finish it out. I also want to focus on Stormlight Archive, because the 5th book in this arc is coming out, and I have not made any progress on The Way of Kings. I've gotten about 100 pages into that, and I put it aside because I started it at a point where I shouldn't have. I've tried to restart it, and I'm going to focus on that, I think, in January. I think is my goal at this point. But I do want to at least get through several of the Stormlight Archive books, especially the first 2 for sure. If I can get through the rest of the series and be ready for book 5, Wind and Truth, that would be phenomenal, but I'm not going to hold myself to that. I'm just going to say that I have to at least start And I'd like to get through, as I said, I'd like to get through the Way of Kings and Words of Radiance at least. If I can do more, that'd be great, but I'm not going to force it. This is a series, Cosmere books that I've just not gotten to yet, and I really want to get back into that, and we'll see how that goes. So that's it. Those are my goals. We'll see how I do this next year. I think I did pretty well on the goals before. I mean, there's some failures, of course. I always have some. So, are any of these goals like your goals? Are there any goals you think I should have thought about or done? Or change my goals to reflect? I don't know. Or what is your major goal for 2024? Let me know. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.